Yeah, a little more detail on that New York Times report on this purported suicide note written by Jeffrey Epstein that the Times reports is in a New York courthouse. The New York Times reports this stems from an incident weeks before his death. A cellmate says he discovered a note in July of 2019 after Epstein was found unresponsive with a strip of cloth around his neck. Now, again, this was before Epstein ultimately died. Epstein survived this first incident with the cloth when the note was allegedly found, but it was weeks later that Epstein was found dead by suicide, authorities say. A federal judge later sealed the note as part of that cellmate, the cellmate who allegedly found it, his criminal case. The Times is now petitioning the judge to unseal the note. The cellmate claimed the note said, quote, "Time to say goodbye." So the cellmate says Epstein wrote, "Time to say goodbye." With us now, CNN legal analyst and criminal defense attorney Joey Jackson. Counselor, great to see you. Before we get to the contents of the note and what it might mean, why is it locked up in a courthouse? Like, why wasn't it released as part of the Epstein document?
Yeah, so even before that, John, good morning to you. I think it's important to discuss whether it's authentic or not.
I want to get to that,
right?
but just tell me why it's locked up first.
So what happened is that it was under seal, and apparently judges have vast discretion with respect to whether they're putting something under seal, which means it's not in the public's view. It's not in the court records. If you go, and right now we have a system in federal court, state court too, where you can literally go into the docket and look at a variety of materials. Well, there are some materials that are sensitive that are not going to be in that docket because a judge in that judge's discretion will seal it. That's what they did here. Remember, this involves Tartaglione. Who's he? He's a person who was convicted. He was Jeffrey Epstein's cellmate, and he ultimately was convicted for four quadruple murder. And as a result of that and them sharing a cell, he purportedly, that is, Mr. Tartaglione, found the note, reported it to his lawyers. He had about 18 of them, by the way, over the course of time, and they got involved, the lawyers did, with respect, hey, what should we do with the note? How do we authenticate the note? Should we put the note under seal? It became the subject of a lot of controversy. The attorneys argued it was attorney-client privilege incident to their communications and them seeking advice. And will Jeffrey Epstein claim that I actually, Tartaglione, his cellmate, killed him or tried to kill him? And so what do we do? And so the judge ultimately said it's going to be away from public view. It's going to be in a vault in the federal courthouse, and it has remained there for all this time.
Basically, a judge has it under his purview right now, involved in a separate case, which is why it was not part of the Epstein files per se. And the source here, this is from a cellmate charged with 4 murders, quadruple murder, who said he found the note and is the only person that we know so far to tell us what was on it. Time to say goodbye. So the credibility of the source?
Yeah, John, I think that's important to talk about. And at the time he was being charged, now he's convicted and he's serving these 4 life sentences. And so you have to question, right, what we call the veracity. Is it something that we could credit the fact that he said it? That I found this note, it said time to say goodbye. It had a smiley face. What am I going to do now? Burst out in tears. They found nothing, meaning indicating what was on that particular note. And what ends up happening, John, in courts of law is that there's something called a chain of custody. If you want to admit anything into evidence, we're not talking about an evidentiary proceeding here. We're talking about why it's not in the files and whether it's authentic. It has to be authenticated. And so was it a forgery? Was it not? They were roommates for 2 weeks. Did he learn his patterns, right? Was he planning, that is Tartaglione, his cellmate, something nefarious against Epstein? And so I think we have to really evaluate and question the note and its authenticity and where it got to.
Very quickly.
Yes.
What role might it play in the entire Epstein investigation and cases? What questions does it raise about Jeffrey Epstein?
So I think it goes to state of mind. Remember that if it's something that he penned, right, there are many conspiracy theories concerning his death. Is he really alive now, John? Was this all a ruse? How could you lose sight of such a prisoner? Did he take his own life? Did somebody else take his own life? Was he suicidal? And so the note may indicate that he wanted, that is Mr. Epstein, to take his life. Indications are, however, that he was telling psychologists that I have every reason to live. I want to fight these charges. I'm entangled in my case. So I think it goes to what was he thinking at the time and whether or not he actually is dead or maybe not. There are all these theories out there.
He's dead. I don't think there's any question whether he's dead. The question is whether or not it was a suicide. This may lend credence, if the note is real, to it being a suicide. Joey Jackson, good to see you this morning. Thank you very much. Kate?